Yeah, Rizzo. Rizzo, how in the world are you?
Ed, Tim, how are you? Tough act to follow. You're really putting me for after the, so inspiring. You get everybody riled up about, Bitcoin changing the world. And then we're going to hit you with an announcement about Bitcoin education. I love it.
Pete, you've done more for the Bitcoin cause than 99% of the people in the space. So don't sell yourself short there, man.
You're Ed. Yeah, happy to be here, and great lineup. I'll be tuning in myself. So
yeah. So why don't you tell us about the press release you'll be releasing this afternoon about BitcoinTreasuries.net and Bitcoin Treasuries Media?
Yeah, head off the press, BitcoinTreasuries.net, BitcoinTreasuries.media, a strategic partnership to accelerate corporate Bitcoin education and adoption. And look, I don't think it's a secret that, both of our products are things that people in this sector touch every day, right? On the BitcoinTreasuries.net side, we're pushing news 24/7 on Twitter. We're pushing monthly reports. And of course, everybody's coming for that great data, every day to kind of check their portfolios. Maybe not as much as they were during the height of paper Bitcoin summer, but, certainly really love our community. And it's been really great to see them empowered with tools to really understand this market. Really excited to unlock the synergies with what you all have built, on the event side. And I think, when you think about media, research, and events, right? These are things that go so well together. And yeah, it'll be exciting to go to the market with offerings that allow folks, Bitcoin treasury companies and Bitcoin treasury company service providers to get the best of both worlds here, right? And both kind of the, in-person events that you guys are doing and these digital conferences with, some of the additional media products that I mentioned that we're building around BitcoinTreasuries.net. And I think you'll see more in the press release, but I think there'll be a lot for businesses to like who are seeking to get, visibility, exposure, and to help the educational cause.
Yeah, shameless plug. So you could either argue that sentiment is horrible right now, or this is the kind of sentiment that Bitcoiners thrive on, right? Where it's like, it's so funny because I've had to go to a total contrarian X investment mode where it's like I just look at X and I go the other way. But just seeing a few things this morning about people saying that like, hey, this is the time where we all get back together and go from here.
I love a news guy, right? So I'm here for the story. I'm here to follow the development of the space, right? And so I think, I honestly think this has been the more interesting period. We've come out of this kind of paper Bitcoin summer where it was up only, everybody was winning. And so a bit as a, spectator or someone who's, looking to communicate to the audience and the public about what's going on, got some exciting narratives, right? Digital credit coming to the market on the strategy side, our most recent report, focusing heavily on that. But, this is where you're going to see the executive teams that can deliver really come to the forefront and innovate. And I think that, we've seen people explore all sorts of interesting solutions, right? Where you're going to hear from a company later today that's doing some innovative, ways to put their Bitcoin treasury to work to generate more Bitcoin. That's pretty exciting. You've got companies staking Bitcoin, running Lightning nodes. It really feels like now I sort of say that the risk board has been set up, and now you're going to see some companies start to get into expansion mode, right? There's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. From a spectator's point, covering, the sector, right? What more could you ask for than to have that kind of show lined up for yourself?
So if you're a Bitcoin treasury company out there watching us, private or public, I think it's been shown quite well that you need to have a story and you need to tell that story, right? The ones that have done a better job at telling the story have seemed to be a little more resilient. If you're a service provider through these companies, you need to get yourself in front of them. They're not going to find you on their own. They're not, even if you were to go to Google and say, search for this, it's just not in SEO yet, and ChatGPT doesn't really understand it. So if you're a treasury company, if you're a service provider and you're in this space and you need trusted partners, reach out to any of the three of us. You can go to BitcoinTreasuries.media, BitcoinTreasuries.net, and reach out to us. We've got Media Kit for 2026, which includes all the fantastic services that Pete and BitcoinTreasuries.net provides, as well as Tim's podcast and all of our events, which we seem to be planning 2 or 3 more per week lately. But we're going to be that trusted source when you need to know about which of these companies can you trust? Which of these companies are good investments? Which of these service providers are going to provide you with the tools you need? I was on a call this morning with a accounting firm, and it turns out they've got about a dozen private treasury companies. And I'm like, well, why aren't we getting that story out? Why aren't we telling treasury companies about you that you already know how to do this, instead of going back to your accountant and your accountant going, what the hell is this? So shameless plug, but if you're a treasury company, if you're a service provider, you need to be in touch with us. We need to tell you how we're going to help you.
Yeah, I'll add one more note on that. If you want to see some of these stories, we've got a blog on BitcoinTreasuries.net. It's blog.BitcoinTreasuries.net. I know people are kind of coming for the headlines and they're kind of seeing who's flipping who, but if you go look at the blog, you'll see some of our most recent announcements and partnerships. Most recent just last week with Secure Digital Markets and Exchange. That's going to help us integrate all sorts of pricing data into BitcoinTreasuries.net. So, excited for this partnership, excited to see what we can do together. And I think you're right. I think, now's the time when brands, I think, are come and meet companies and do interesting things, right? Nobody knows, maybe other than Tim, where this market is headed. The rest of us are just following along and, here for the show.
Yeah. And for those of you out there watching that are lazy, there's always Bitwise's own B. OWNB is just a lazy way to get into this space. And it is a fantastic ETF for just getting into the Bitcoin standard space. With that, I'm going to jump off and let you two go at it. We got Aldana coming on after Pete for a minute to talk to us about Mad Bitcoin Summit, and then on with the rest of the programming. Don't tune out. Jack Mallers, David Bailey, Scott Melker. This is going to be a wild 5 hours.
Boom. Did you want to share your screen to roll through a few things, or?
Let me see if I can. I'm that sophisticated. Okay, excellent. Yeah. I did want to share a little bit about, give people a peek behind the scenes, right? I've sort of described BitcoinTreasuries.net. Today we're a data website, right, where you go to see kind of the leaderboard snapshot of the top companies. But, there's a lot we're doing to push editorial products into the market. I mentioned 24/7 news on Twitter. I mentioned the research reports, and here we're going to kind of dig in. This is our most recent October report, already working on the November report. And this is exciting to be a part of, if you're out there and you want to get in touch around this product. BitcoinTreasury.net, we do a lot of media education, right? So when the sector was really exploding earlier this year, think about BitcoinTreasuries.net, the leader in search. Media was kind of reaching out with questions, asking for charts, asking with graphs. Just today, Forbes requests come in. We're writing a story about, the sector in this way. How can you help? We're keen to develop a product that, one, kind of contextualize the space for folks, but two, that helped educate media, right? Get them to see beyond the headlines, which can be a bit unfriendly, right? Bitcoin, a new and innovative product, not always well understood. And so, the monthly BitcoinTreasury.net corporate adoption report is something that we're really proud of. I think it showcases, the best of our editorial abilities and where we're going in terms of kind of making these same features available for companies and clients as we think about creating great content for the sector, also with you guys. And so, this one was just wanted to roll through some highlights here and kind of showcase what we covered, but talked about that digital credit expansion, right? This idea that, you've got companies like Strategy, Strive, and MetaPlanet, buying Bitcoin in new ways, right? We saw Strategy come to market and make a purchase without diluting shareholders. A 0 to 1 moment, really something we wanted to get across to media. But some of the other headlines, we were able to kind of help with the press and help sort of push out there. Strategy's dominance declining as part of the sector. It's a great sign for sector health, right? We're really seeing the broader Bitcoin treasury space take a broader share of buying. Also seeing some treasury equities outperform right against the S&P and other benchmarks. So, the narrative that the whole industry is, sort of in this free fall, also, contextualized here with some interesting data. Talking also a little bit about the, contextualizing the broadening into digital assets, right? We have seen some firms kind of go out on the risk curve, try to, see if they can be the next Michael Saylor with another network. Obviously not optimistic there personally, but think it'll be a fantastic way to see what happens, right? Fantastic story to cover. And then, we have expert commentary kind of mixed throughout. So a lot of the folks who are you've had on the stream before are also contributors to this report. So, I wanted to give the highlights and just kind of let people know this is available and to check it out and to kind of showcase what our research team is putting out.
Awesome. Can you walk through where people can subscribe, if there's anything that, right, it's not right on the main page, or it's like just scroll down for a couple seconds and you'll see everything else?
Yeah, there's a lot hitting in the top nav, right? So if you go to bitcointreasuries.net every day, which we know a lot of people do, I really encourage people to look at the margins. It's where we put some of our most interesting beta products and new stuff. So if you look at the navigation, you'll see under resources, you'll see that blog, that I was talking about where a lot of our announcements come out, but you'll also see a newsletter subscription tool, right? So I have about 10 to 15,000 people, reading our emails that are coming out twice a week. You'll also get original content there. But I think this is really just what we're trying to do in the space is be the sort of media for the Bitcoin treasury sector, or really just the Bitcoin business sector, right? I think, my view as someone who's been in crypto media for a long time is that the sector is, broadly B2C, right? It's a lot of the founding publications like a CoinDesk or a Cointelegraph, they see themselves as sort of consumer tech websites, right? They kind of expect a broad retail audience. And whereas I think there's a real, kind of opening for, someone in the crypto media space who's going to be, more focused on corporate adoption, right? Who has a brand that kind of resonates there. And, that's kind of our North Star these days as we think about, how we're going to go from doing research reports to custom research with clients, telling that story through articles, evolving into a media site. We really do think of ourselves as a place where, you not only follow the sector, but you'll increasingly start to get information, get context, get news, and other aspects. And right, it's threaded across a lot of our products, but, we're working on some exciting web updates. We're hoping to kind of blend this experience together. And I think, right now, if you go to bitcointreasuries.net, you go to the homepage, you'll see me and Tim talking above this, the leaderboard that you know and love. And again, another just small feature, we've rolled out to help, people who are having events around the world showcase what they're doing. Tomorrow we'll be streaming the event from the UK out in Derby, Bitcoin, a competitive advantage. And so, this is kind of what we spend our time building, is a product that we hope where you can connect with folks, find things that are going on, and then get informed.
Awesome. Any closing thoughts? I guess .net is where it's at, but where can people reach out to you on X or otherwise?
Yeah, @Pete_Rizzo_, and really appreciate how people engaging with the product. And if you're interested in helping us build the product as well, it takes a small village, right? We've got a lot of contributors who are interested and passionate about this sector, and Tim, it's a labor of love, right? To push out media. But I gotta ask you, since you're you got the crystal ball, where are we going towards the end of the year? You got some insight from guests. Are we is the market coming back? We got the strategic Bitcoin reserve bill today. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling like structurally, right, there's a lot of support around 80,000. That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have a crystal ball. I think that, I think Q1 and Q2 are going to be fun. My theory for a while has been that, Wall Street is sort of having its fun with the Bitcoin sector right now. Right. And, I think you had Mike Alfred on, and sort of he was talking about the emotions earlier of the investors in the space. I feel like emotions to the Wall Street sharks, it's just blood in the water, right? And, you don't want to get shaken out. So I think the folks who are sort of giving up on the market, I don't know, I wouldn't suggest it.
Yeah, I had a call with a Treasury executive this morning, and they said at the end of the call, "What is it? Hold on for dear life." And I just said, "HODL," and that was the end of the call. So,
Hey, well, that's quite the consulting service right there.
It's back to basics, right?
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, as I said, I think this is where the story is going to get interesting, right? You're going to see folks, right? I don't think everyone's going to be a winner, right? There hasn't been a market in Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency world where everyone has been a winner, and part of that means opportunity, right? It means an opportunity to, I think, for service providers. There's companies right now that are willing to go out and consider solutions that they wouldn't have thought about 3 or 4 months ago. So I think, they say, what is it? Trouble or, is the mother of all invention, right? So I think as these companies, sort of experience different situations, right? We're going to see some people try new things. And I think there's going to be a lot of great storytelling and a lot of ways for, people to see what works, right? I don't think, other than MicroStrategy, I don't know if there's a sure bet in the market right now.
Yeah. I mean, there's really no lack of news. I mean, Metaplanet announced their 2 products this morning.
Mm-hmm.
DDC announced a 300 Bitcoin purchase, I believe. So, I mean, there's action every day. And that's probably why you're seeing everyone, the amount of traffic that you see on BitcoinTreasuries.net is just, I don't know the data the way you do, but I would think it's unrelenting.
We've been surprised at how well it's, maintained, even though the price has gone down, right? And I think that part of the reason is people come to find all these stories, right? I mean, today, we saw updates, as you said, from DDC climbing up the leaderboard. Also saw, Naka make an adjustment in its filing, invested its holdings strategically. If you're following us on Twitter, there's a whole fun thread over there. But, we're learning, right? These companies are doing new and innovative things. And, our team is trying to push out the news as fast as possible. And so, we love tips. We love to hear what you're interested in. The Monday, Friday emails for us are where you're going to get those exclusive stories. So, you mentioned the preferred share issuance from Metaplanet. That'll be our featured story tomorrow. And, as I said, we're really building out a new level of content services around BitcoinTreasuries.net. And so, we hope you're enjoying it. If you are enjoying reaching out, and if you do want to get in and build, and if you're interested in media and data, I will say there's 360 companies around the world, 24/7. It's one of the toughest markets I've found to cover so far, and been around for a while.
Well, it sounds like you're up for the challenge.
We're hanging in there.
Awesome. Well, Pete, no lack of news. Even 14 minutes ago, a press release typo. Nakamoto has 24 million in cash, not $24,000 in cash. So, it's that's just right off of David's tweet. So it's good to
a lot of information is always coming to market, and there needs to be someone to filter it. And again, I think appreciate you giving us the time to showcase some of that product growth. Excited for this joint offering, and I really think you think about what you guys do, once a month, once a quarter, getting people together, and what we do, which is, we're the water cooler for folks every day. You spend your 5-10 minutes with Bitcoin Treasuries catching up. I think it's a powerful combo.
Absolutely. Pete, thanks for your time, and we'll have you back. And
appreciate it. HODL, right?
HODL, and excited for the partnership. So thanks for what you're doing over there.
Take care, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care. When it comes to holding Bitcoin securely, peace of mind starts with architecture. OnRamp's multi-institution custody model distributes control across 3 independent regulated key holders in a 2 of 3 multi-sig quorum. No single point of failure, no pooled or omnibus exposure, just segregated, client-titled vaults. You retain full legal ownership while OnRamp coordinates security, compliance, and operational workflows behind the scenes. It's the strength of many delivered through the simplicity of one. MIC is the foundation for everything OnRamp builds. Sound infrastructure that distributes counterparty risk and provides fault-tolerant resilience with clear audits and institutional controls. And now, OnRamp is piloting flat, predictable pricing, making best-in-class Bitcoin custody and financial services more accessible than ever. OnRamp. Strength in many, simplicity in one. Visit onrampbitcoin.com to to learn more. Hey guys, today's episode is brought to you by Stampseed. If you're in cold storage, you know how important it is to protect your seed phrase. That's why I recommend you head over to stampseed.com and check it out for yourself. This seed phrase storage device is one solid piece of titanium. There are no loose pieces, and you can hammer your seed phrase in letter by letter. When you go to stampseed.com, use promo code TIM15 for a 15% discount across the website. That's TIM15. Join us at The Win in Las Vegas, February 23rd through the 26th, 2026 for Bitcoin for Corporations. Use code KOTZ when you grab your tickets at strategy.com, and we'll see you there. This episode is brought to you by Arch Lending, the premier provider of crypto-backed loans designed for both individual and institutional investors. At Arch, your digital assets work for you without selling them. Arch offers flexible loan options tailored to your needs. Backed by industry leaders like Morgan Creek Digital, Castle Island Ventures, and Galaxy Ventures, Arch Lending is setting a new standard in crypto-backed lending. Are you ready to unlock the potential of your crypto assets? Visit archlending.com to learn more and configure your loan today. Are you looking for comprehensive analytics on corporate Bitcoin adoption? Strategy Tracker delivers real-time insights into how companies are executing their Bitcoin strategies completely free. Monitor NAV premiums, cost basis performance, and track how corporate Bitcoin treasuries perform against the market. Upgrade to premium for just $3.99 a month and unlock exclusive benefits like detailed market rankings, real-time trading volume analysis, and advanced performance metrics for corporations embracing Bitcoin. Apply code KOTZ at checkout for 100% off your first month of premium. Strategy Tracker is your essential tool for measuring the effectiveness of corporate Bitcoin strategies. Visit strategytracker.com and gain the analytical edge in understanding the Bitcoin treasury phenomenon.